Democrats were feeling optimistic about the vice president's chances of winning the presidency. But then election night came, and it was like 2016 all over again. So why do you think the vice president lost, and were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised. I was very disappointed, but I wasn't surprised.
In your final year, there was a dramatic decline in your cognitive abilities.
Not because negative. I mean, it was anyway. As they say in Southern, we've done pretty good. We left with a circumstance where we had an insurrection. When I started, I'll lay you 8-5. If when that election started, I told you we were going to get any of that done, none of you would have thought it happened.
Joe Biden appeared on The View the other day, and my God, what a showing. So that intro, just to let you know, is somewhat edited. I mean, I didn't AI stuff. I didn't go too hard. All of that stuff he actually said. I kind of went through it and got the most interesting 40 seconds, you know, for punch. A video needs a Razzie intro. But this whole affair lasted for about 20 minutes, half an hour, and I sat through the whole thing. Oh my God, those bitches on The View. Fuck me. I think like being an audience member at The View would be like my personal hell. I mean, you got fucking Whoopi going, yeah, we're pleased to announce Joe Biden, everyone. And Joy Behar going, shut the fuck up. Oh my God. So Joe took his wife on. Now there's something about that lady that I just don't trust. There's something about her, I think she's like bad. I think she's a bit evil. But Joe ends up prattling on about policy and how he thinks Trump's doing, and a lot of boring stuff. The things that I wanted to see out of this were A, his position on Kamala. Like, do you hate her? Do you think she's a bitch? Throw some shade, Joe. And B, an update on his cognitive function. Because let's face it, that's the juicy stuff. And we'll have a look right after this. Let's go! Joe Rogan lives and breathes MMA fighting. He's in extremely good shape and he's doing well health-wise at the tender age of 57. One of the supplements he's talked about is NMN.
What is NMN? So about 20 years ago, Lenny Guarente and a team of us at MIT discovered a set of genes that controls aging in yeast cells, just brewer's yeast, what you find in beer and bread. And those genes are called sirtuins, and there are 7 of them in our bodies, 5 in yeast. And what they do is they protect all organisms on the planet, plants, bacteria, humans, from deterioration and disease. They're like the Pentagon. They sense when we're hungry, sense when we're exercising, and they send out the troops to defend us. So when you put more of these genes into a yeast cell or a mouse, they'll live longer, between 5 to 20% longer. And so we think that these genes are responsible for the effects of dieting and exercise, which is great. What that means is we can now mimic that with molecules. So NMN is one of those molecules, so is resveratrol.
So with NMN, you get improved energy, weight management, anti-aging, and endurance and strength. Every bloke knows you got to be strong and mentally aware. So check out NMN and resveratrol. The two go hand in hand, and Black Forest has both. NMN is going to help your body produce NAD+, which starts firing up all those abilities you had as a young fella. The ones you don't have anymore because you've aged. You might have a pot belly, you might have creaky knuckles, wrinkly skin, the list goes on. Well, this works towards undoing all of that. Check it out at blackforestsupplements.com/bearing. They're running a special buy 2, get 1 free 48-hour discount for my viewers. That's blackforestsupplements.com/bearing.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Yay!
So Joe does his little jog out onto the stage. He's sprightly. He's ready to go. Now, the thing about Joe Biden, and this is a compliment, right? Joe Biden is very, very polite. You're not going to hear him call anyone a bitch. He's not going to go into full savage mode like Trump on Rosie O'Donnell. He's a polite man. He's a very dignified man when he's not being propped up by his handlers. So let's get into the questions.
Mr. President, last time you were here was a little over a month before the election, and you had made the selfless and very difficult decision, I'm sure, to step aside. And Democrats were feeling optimistic about the vice president's chances of winning the presidency. But then election night came, and it was like 2016 all over again. Yeah. So why do you think the vice president lost, and were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised.
He wasn't surprised because she's shit. Of course she wasn't going to fucking win. We're talking about Kamala Harris. She's pissed.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Now, to be fair, I did cut him off there. He does say more about this.
Not because I didn't think the vice president was the most qualified person to be president. She is. She's qualified to be president of the United States of America. But I was surprised. I wasn't surprised because they went the route of the sexist route, the whole route. I mean, this is a woman, she's this, she's that. I mean, it really, I've never seen quite as successful and a consistent campaign undercutting the notion that a woman couldn't lead the country and a woman of mixed race.
Oh, come on, they went the sexist route. She's a person of colour. They did not. Did you ever see a Trump campaign ad saying, don't vote for this coloured chick because she's just a coloured chick? It didn't fucking happen. Come on, Joe. I never saw any of that. I didn't see it at rallies. I didn't see it in ads. Maybe I'm wrong. Was there some big Trump campaign talking about how she's a woman of colour and how a woman of colour can't do the job? I don't think there was. I think you're making shit up, Joe. I mean, the only campaign that talked about race and sex was the Kamala campaign. They couldn't shut the fuck up about it.
It's time for hope, for change. It's time to be a man and vote for a woman.
And they played that to a fairly well. In addition to that, one of the things happened, if you notice, and I'm going to be shorter, okay, I promise. Okay. She said, don't be Joe Biden, be short.
I said that to him.
Anyway, make a long story short, all kidding aside, think about it. Liberal democracies all across America, all across the world lost that time.
Yeah.
All across America.
Does anyone have any idea what he just said then? It was something like liberal democracies all across the world lost thus time out. All across America. And then the bitches on The View just go, yeah, he said something about liberal. He said something about democracy. Yeah, Joe, go Joe. I don't think I'm being bad faith here. Let's listen again.
Think about it. Liberal democracies all across America, all across the world lost that time.
Yeah.
All across America.
Yep, no fucking idea. Now, we can't go too hard on the bloke. He's not in public office anymore. He is fucking 82, 83, whatever, and he's losing the plot. Let's continue.
I think we underestimate the phenomenal negative impact that COVID had and the pandemic had on people, on attitudes, on optimism, on a whole range of things. So I was very disappointed. But I wasn't surprised.
So there was some tangent about COVID, but that was all in a roundabout way to say, yep, she's shit. I wasn't surprised. I was disappointed because Kamala is shit. Now, like I said, he's a polite guy. He's not going to directly say Kamala is shit. But come on, I wasn't surprised. I was disappointed. That's Joe Biden speak for Kamala's shit, and I never had any confidence in her.
Well, Mr. President, some have even argued that leaving the race and endorsing your Vice President Harris, over 100 days before the election hampered her campaign.
Well, you know,
what do you say to those critics?
I say, number one, that there were still 6 full months. She was in every aspect, every decision I made.
I mean, there was 106 days or something like that. There wasn't 6 months. He's getting confused here. There was 6 months left in his presidency. But the question was all about, did she have long enough to campaign? Because she only had 100 and whatever days.
We sit and say, well, what about this provision? No, Joe, I don't like that. Well, anyway, we worked it out. It was a mutual thing. But like I said, I'll lay you 8-5 if when that election started, I told you we were going to get any of that done. None of you would have thought it happened.
Yeah.
Not because negative. I mean, it was, anyway, as they say in Southern, we've done pretty good.
What? Poor old timer, poor Joe, leave him alone. He shouldn't be doing shows like this because he doesn't make any sense. Now this next bit is another subtle Joe Biden crack at Kamala. Just listen to the way he words this.
She's got a difficult decision to make about what she's going to do.
Yeah.
I hope she stays fully engaged. I think she's first rate. But we have a lot of really good candidates as well.
She's got a difficult decision to make. I hope she stays fully engaged. I think she's first rate. However, we've got a lot of good candidates. Who do you have, Joe? Who? Fucking AOC, the American psycho bloke from California? That funny little Indian fella that just tried to impeach Trump? I mean, to say, oh, she's first rate, I think she's fantastic. But we've got a heap of good people. No, you don't. You've got a heap of shit cunts. And you've just lumped her in with all those shit cunts. Because Kamala is in fact a shit cunt. That's what he's saying. Now we move on to the cognitive decline portion of this interview. And this is fucking brutal. Let's go.
Mr. President, since you left office, there have been a number of books that have come out, deeply sourced from Democratic sources, that claim in your final year there was a dramatic decline in your cognitive abilities. in the final year of your presidency. What is your response to these allegations, or are these sources wrong?
They are wrong. There's nothing to sustain that, number one. Number two, think of what we were left with. We were left with a circumstance where we had an insurrection. I started.
Did he just say he started the insurrection? Is that what he said?
We had an insurrection. I started.
Now, before you say, oh, Bearing, you're deceptively editing, I'll play you the whole thing. When I first saw it, I thought, is he maybe saying there was an insurrection, I started the inquiry into it or something like that? But no, he sort of trails off a bit and then starts talking about, like, the American Civil War insurrection. I mean, if I'm going to be good faith about this, I think he just misspoke. But that was a hell of a misspeak.
We had an insurrection. I started. Not since the Civil War. We had a circumstance where we were in a position that the pandemic, because of the incompetence of the last outfit, end up over 1 million people dying. 1 million people dying.
Now remember, this question was about a bunch of books that have apparently been written, books about his cognitive decline. Even if we grant that the insurrection thing was just a misspeak, I mean, he's not answering the fucking question. He goes on about COVID and the incompetency of the last outfit. None of this, sir, is about your cognitive abilities. He cannot stay on track and his wife has to jump in for him. This happens a lot during this interview, but here's a good example.
We're also in a situation where we found ourselves unable to deal with a lot of just basic issues, and which I won't go into in the interest of time. And so we went to work, and we got it done. And one of the things and
Alyssa, one of the things I think is that the people who wrote those books were not in the White House with us.
So, I think his wife propped him up. And I don't mean the way that a wife usually props up a husband, like moral support and all that. I mean like Weekend at Bernie's propped him up. I think she did sort of form a cocoon around him, and I think he had like puppet masters towards the end. Anyway, like I said, poor old Joe. He shouldn't be subjected to this shit anymore. He should be at home reading a book, seeing his grandkids every now and then, making sure old Hunter doesn't start snorting weird substances. But I found this interesting, so I thought I'd talk about it. Now, I hadn't heard about this interview till the other day. It didn't come across my radar for some reason. So if you ever see anything that you think would be the subject to a good Bearing video, please send it my way. My Twitter is @bear_ing. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.
Recession, give me better times. Recession, give me better times.